Let the game begin.
I just want to say thank you very, very much for joining me today in my Central Park setting.
Of course, I can smell the flowers in the air.
I think that's just garbage.
We'll take 2 hot dogs, please, sir. Thank you. Glad we can share this day at the park together.
Me too. I have my Apéro. Oh God, I always do this. Okay, it's right here. So I took a cue from you and I made a Manhattan.
Ooh.
Right now, I will try it. I haven't tried it yet. I'm a little.
Ooh, I can't wait. I love this live experience.
It's very good, but it is incredibly strong.
Oh.
So, in my 15 minutes, I might be a little buzzed. Just.
Well, you know what they say. If your top's not off in 15 minutes, it wasn't that fun. I think I heard that somewhere sometime.
I think my grandma actually did used to say that to me. And did you know that the Manhattan is actually, it dates back to the 1880s in New York City, the Manhattan Club?
Do you know that I did know that?
Get out.
I did. I believe Winston Churchill's mom was like hosting a soiree, and that's, well, I guess like the rumors are that that's where it was birthed.
Yes, so here is to a wonderful aperitif with you in New York. Cheers. That was the most natural thing I think we've ever done.
So natural.
So who are you?
My name is Michael Mikey to some Johnston, and I have been friends with Emily for I feel like forever, since birth, really, but 10 years?
No, it's got more.
11? Maybe 12?
Yeah, I think we're 12.
Did we meet in 2008?
We did.
Aw, back when I was just a young child trying to get into Howl at the Moon to be with all of my friends. Yeah, I am a 30-year-old living in New York City now, but we met in Los Angeles.
Yes, we did. We sure did.
Oh, I must make a correction. I heard from my PR team out there that I'm 31. That's correct. 31.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
All right. Noted. So you mentioned that we met in LA, right? And now you're living in the big city, the Big Apple. What was your path to New York City?
When I first moved here the first time, I'd been in LA for about 8 years at the time, and I just knew I wanted a change. I had always loved the idea of living in New York and, every movie and TV show and the idea of Broadway. And I was like, let's go. I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have a job. I didn't have very many friends here, but I was like, let's go. So I moved here the first time, and I was here for about 2 years, and I had worked at different TV shows for the most part, and then I had got laid off in September, but stayed here for the end of that year. But then I was back in LA, and I was working at a company that I met my now boyfriend, and he was moving to New York, and I confidently said that well, have fun, because I just left that place, but love got the best of me, and I decided to come on back.
Okay, so love brought you to the city. Love for the arts and the glamour and the excitement, and then
Totally. And I mean, what a true testament to New York. I feel like no matter who you meet, whether they love it or hate it, it is such a palpable relationship between wanting to beat the city up and then wanting it to just be your warmest embrace. As you know, because you lived here too.
I did. Since we're talking about LA and New York and the contrast, so what is it from, if you could think of one thing from Los Angeles that you loved that you don't have in New York City, but you miss? Like, what would that one thing be?
I feel like this is probably everyone's answer, but to me, it's just space. And I think it's like, it's space in every meaning of space, whether it's living space, space to just be, or, you know, space from others. I just think like everything is so stacked on top of each other. And there's a lot of times that makes life great and everything can be convenient and easy. But at the same time, I think, I don't know, I just think that weighs on you. Like the pressure of people is just like constantly around you and the stimulation all the time. I think that it can wear you down a bit in like kind of a unique way. You know, they say like once you live here, like nowhere else is the same. And it's so true because for better or worse, that density, I think like really does something to you that like changes how you kind of just like relate to life.
Absolutely. I think it changes how you perceive the world and other people as well. Just kind of forced to be amongst everyone. And that's what's cool about New York is, you know, you have everyone from all walks of life just crammed into a subway and everyone's equal. It's like the great equalizer, right?
It's so different. Even in LA, when I've taken the subway there a couple times and I'm like, we're going to die. Like, this is not good for us.
My dog just sneezed.
I just think like this is the city you can be the freest if you're willing to be the most confined. The fastest way to get someplace if you do it with everyone else. You know, it's just like a bunch of yin and yangs, I guess.
Now, on the flip side, so now you're in New York and, you know, you went back to LA. And then when you got back to LA, was there something from New York that you missed? Because I feel like people always compare these two cities. You know, they're two of the biggest, most famous cities in the country, and they're just so completely different in a lot of ways. But they're also similar in a lot of ways because they're big cities.
So I think a bigger thing that I missed about New York in LA, because it's such an entertainment town, I mean, it's just like everyone has some connection to entertainment and is working in or around entertainment. My big examples used to be when you would go hiking in LA, you wouldn't hear people talking about like camping or something. You would hear them talking about like, oh, we have to finish this hike because I have to get Botox at 6 and I don't want to do this. And like in New York, you can go into a coffee shop and you're hearing two young people talk about like the water crisis in Uganda and how they like discovered this poetry nonprofit that's donating funds. And I think there's just like sometimes it feels like New York is like, you can more easily tap into like worldly conversations.
Speaking of nonprofit work and things like that, I know that you work closely with a nonprofit organization. Would you like to talk about that at all?
So I work at a nonprofit called Off the Lane, and I am one of their mentorship program committee co-chairs. And what the program is it's completely digital. And this is like all thought of before the current situation we're in now. It just kind of happens to work perfectly, I guess. But the program is connecting working professionals in the entertainment industry with college seniors or juniors that are planning on making the move from whatever school they are once they graduate to New York City. They don't have to like make a commitment to us like, oh, I'm moving in 2 weeks. They just have to be like sincere that they are planning to make the move. Whether it happens or not, that doesn't matter. But we want to be a resource and a community of people that can help usher them into the city and make that transition from, you know, student to working adult as easy as possible.
And is there anything that people can do to help in any way, or is it just all through?
Yeah, so if people are interested in finding out more about Off the Lane, they can go to offthelane.org. They can look up all the different things we have. We have the mentorship program. We also have another program called the Speaker Series. And you can find out how you can sign up to be a part of all of those. And if you want to make a donation, there's links to donate, all kinds of stuff like that. You can find out all of the information on offthelane.org.
What neighborhood do you live in?
Hell's Kitchen.
Do you want that public?
Oh, yeah, I don't care. Oh, sorry. Should I have answered that for real?
What?
Like, was that a
Hell's Kitchen?
No, me too, but I didn't know if you are asking or if like you're asking for.
Well, it was both, but I can always like. No, I was lying. I actually live in the Village.
Can you imagine? No, I just said that. I live in Astoria.
Hell's Kitchen. So you're right in the heart of it all.
Yep, we are in it. I've also lived in Harlem, which I loved. Our apartment there was so nice. It was like probably the nicest apartment I've ever lived in until, again, New York with that yin and yang, nicest apartment ever, overrun with mice. And then I lived in the Lower East Side, which that was like so cool because everyone was like, wow, you live in like such a cool neighborhood. That's awesome. And I was like, is it that awesome? I can touch all four walls at the same time when I'm on my bed. And I think that's crazy.
Speaking of yin and yang, I have made a New York treat and they're going to fall apart because they're so soft. Hang on. Thank you. Okay, there.
Oh my goodness. That is so cute. I remember when we were here visiting and you were like, we have to go to Junior's because I want a black and white cookie.
Grabbing them. I made you run around the city for my black and white cookies. Do you have a favorite New York food? Like something that's typical New York that is your go-to that, you know, if you had a friend coming into town, you'd be like, we have to go here and eat this.
Ooh, good question. Oh, I got it. I don't know if this is just New York or they have these everywhere, but there is a place in Times Square called Ruby Tuesdays. It is the best. I'm kidding. I know.
Like, wait, what?
Honestly, my favorite place to take people when they come to visit, and it might be a little cliche, but I love Grimaldi's Pizza. And so I always will take people to the Grimaldi's that's underneath in Dumbo. That's in the old bank. It's just like fun. It's easy. People are usually like blown away that there's a line to get in.
As you mentioned, I lived in New York City, so I still know a lot of people out there, but they honestly, most of them have left the city. They fled. Have you noticed this like mass exodus of people trying to get out of the city before it was totally locked down?
Definitely. I didn't even realize they had gotten out until I saw like them in yards and stuff on like Instagram, and would text them and be like, where are you? And they'd be like, oh, I went to my parents' house here. I went here. I went here. I went here. I went here. And it feels like everything happened so quick. Like I remember talking with my boyfriend and we were like, wow, things are like taking a turn. Like, should we leave? Should we stay? And then by the time we even like thought like, oh, maybe we could leave, it was like everyone was gone. Things are locked down. But this place feels so different without people in the streets and without just like the activity that goes on here. It's like, honestly, like it's very, I don't know, maybe it's like unnerving, kind of this like dystopian, like I feel like the wind feels different when it blows. It's so weird to be in New York, but like have none of the New York people.
So you do actually notice, you know, pictures circulating on the internet of an empty Times Square, and is that accurate? Is that kind of just depends on the time of day?
I mean, I would say it's pretty accurate. I stay in the house as much as possible. I probably go out once every 9 days to like refill my groceries. But when I go out, I mean, like not that many cars coming by. It's just a totally different place. The pictures you see, like I feel like it's like, oh, that's like unbelievable. No way. But like it is. On nicer days by the water, there's usually a few people trying to like get runs in, but nowhere near like how it normally is. But yeah, the like streets and avenues are like a ghost town.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine.
I feel like there's kind of like been a large reveal of the homeless population here. You know, New York City certainly has its fair share of problems with the homeless and not being able to get people into shelters and stuff. But I just feel like there's so many people out on the streets now that it's like so sad for them. And I would think that with people not using the subways, maybe they would like go down to be able to utilize the subway for like shelter. But I think like without the people being down there, I don't know if there's a way for them to make $1 to get their next subway ticket. So they're coming up. But that's what I notice the most when I'm out is not just like people doing day-to-day stuff. It's like I feel like there's a large homeless population trying to get help from other people.
Are you allowed to use the subway right now?
I honestly couldn't tell you because I haven't used it in so long. I don't know. I'm assuming they still like run, I don't know if there's any kind of official ban on them or not. I would imagine they have to keep running. I mean,
I would think so. I mean, most people don't have a car who live there.
Yeah. If you're working in hospital billing, you still have to go into your office, and those aren't doctors that have the financial means necessarily to be taking cabs or to, have a car that they do drive to work. Oh, can you hear that?
No.
Everyone's like clapping and banging the pots and stuff for at 7:00 every night. Everyone goes to their window and like claps and they blow whistles and they bang pots and they just like scream. Stuff like that is where you really kind of like, that's when it's easy to fall in love with New York again, when you feel like the camaraderie of like, we're all these kind of urban dwellers and we're all like in it together.
It's an amazing place where when something bad happens, instead of it dividing them, they come together. And I think that's really cool. Have you been in touch with your friends who have also stayed within the city? Are they all doing okay?
For the most part, I think they're pretty healthy. I do know 2 people, they have had the virus and they're doing fine now, but they did have it. I just feel like if you're here, you've probably come into contact with it and have had it. And hopefully, thankfully, you're okay. I just think we're all so close to each other and to like have this like invisible thing going around, but no one has had any complications of it or from it that I like personally talked to.
To kind of sidebar it there, talking about your friends and your community in New York City. And I didn't even know that this was really a thing other than the movie. And then when I came to visit you, you took me to a game, but you played dodgeball on a team.
I do, and I'm very good at it and very competitive with it. I'm very humble. No, but it's awesome. I play in a LGBTQ league here in New York City, and it was totally a game changer for me. It helped me meet a ton of people. I went from having, like 3 people to hang out with to now I can't walk out of my front door without seeing 10 people I know. It was and it is awesome. We're not playing now, obviously, but when things get hopefully back to some kind of normal, we'll all get to play again.
Well, I hope very much that you're going to be able to get back on the court. Is that what you call it?
It is. The court.
Back on the court and play dodgeball. Look at me. I know how to talk sport.
Here, let's practice right now. I'm going to throw this at you. Ready? Catch!
Well, Mikey, I just want to say thank you so much. This has been an absolute treat for me, and I really appreciate you coming and talking to me about your experiences staying in the city during this absolutely crazy time. And I hope you continue to stay safe. Don't lick any subway holes.
Thank you for coming to NYC and kicking it with me in the park.
Well, I love you, and we'll say goodbye. Cheers. Do you still have some water?
I certainly do.
No. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh God, how long has this been? I'm terrified.
My name is Michael Mikey.
Wait, take that again. I just coughed into the microphone. Like right as you're saying your name.
Hey, that's a true New York experience. It's just like just when you think you've got your shot, your shit on. Someone coughs on your mic.
Hey! Keep us out there!
This video was sponsored by Smart Water.